New question. What did the original Peter Piper pick?
Pepper.
Pumpkin. Oh!
Not pepper. What else?
Pumpkin.
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 Do they have pumpkin in New Zealand? Is that a
Do
thing?
they have pumpkin in New Zealand? Yes, but also weirdly, in New Zealand, we eat pumpkin, and apparently here you guys feed them to pigs. You're from England, I assume. Do you eat pumpkin?
No.
Why not?
I've got too many pigs to feed.
So, our best guess is it was a real person called, behind the tongue twister, a one-armed French horticulturalist called Pierre Poivre. And it's a really interesting story. So we're talking 18th century. He wasn't interested in peppers at all. He was
He's the
involved...
Pied Piper.
Well, no. He was involved in the spice trade, but he was interested in nutmeg and cinnamon and cloves and not peppers. So he started his career as a missionary in China. I don't know what happened. He was wrongfully arrested as soon as he arrived. Who knows?
Been there, buddy.
I know.
Yeah.
So
Rose, you know.
I like this. He taught himself Chinese to defend himself in court. And when the mission ended, he sailed back to France, but there was a skirmish with a British ship and he lost an arm to a cannonball. You
And
know.
we've all been there.
Worst holiday ever.
Yeah. Had to rest up in Indonesia.
Wow.
And then he hatched a plan to smuggle spices because in the 18th century, it's sort of hard for us to believe, spices were the tradable commodity. Some of them were worth more than gold, and the Dutch had complete control over spice distribution. They went to extreme measures to make sure they had this monopoly. So, for example, they'd get nutmeg seeds and they'd douse them in lime before they exported them so that they wouldn't sprout, so that you couldn't grow your own. And smuggling seeds was a crime punishable by death. But he transported more than 3,000 plants into Mauritius and Seychelles and Réunion and began growing them. It's one of the reasons why we have spices that we can trade so easily today.
Because nutmeg was used, wasn't it, to preserve meat on the ship?
Yeah, I mean, spices were really important.
And I know a little bit about this because I went to the island of Banda in Indonesia, which was exchanged for what is now the island of Manhattan in a property swap.
Is that David Jason?
That's him. That's Peter.
Spitting image.
That's Peter without either arm, frankly.
I've got loads of nutmeg.
Yes, come in.
Have you seen those videos of you know, the cinnamon challenge? You know, when people like have a
When they
teaspoon of
snort
cinnamon,
it.
because you can't swallow
A teaspoon of cinnamon.
And I think it works with nutmeg as well. They are incredibly resistant.
But
to
the
saliva.
arrogance.
That's the one thing about them. Deeply resistant to saliva.
But you have to be careful with nutmeg because it contains a compound called myristicin, and it can cause hallucinations.
It's profoundly untrustworthy.
It can cause hallucinations in high doses.
Really?
So it's a really, really bad idea.
Jason. Where's Jason? He's on a bad nutmeg trip.
No, you can get all sorts of side effects. You can get anxiety and fear and sort of hostility and a feeling.
I think I might have been on nutmeg my whole life.
I did not make a Glastonbury. It was crazy.
So the nursery rhyme that we were talking about at the very beginning, darling, that was very first published in 1813 in Peter Piper's Practical Principles of Plain and Perfect Pronunciation. And it has a tongue twister for every single letter of the alphabet. So here is the one that we think is based on this character, Pierre Poivre. But this is the S series, so we've got the rhyme for S. Who wants to try?
Do it.
Do it? Jason, go for it.
Sammy Smelly smelt a smell of small coal. Did Sammy Smelly smell a smell of small coal? If Sammy Smelly smelt a smell of small coal, where's the smell of small coal Sammy Smelly smelt? Well,
I'm having the same sort of surge of rage that I used to have when one of my siblings would get praised for doing a simple task.
Yeah. We also have... No, but it's amazing.
that I haven't been asked to do. What are you clapping that for? He's just read it.
all right. Hey, all right, Billy Big Balls, you have a go.
Yeah, go on then.
Sammy Smelly smell a smell of small coal. It's on the bloody screen.
All of it. I had to do all of
Sammy
it.
Smelly smell a smell of small coal. It's Sammy Smelly smell a smell of small coal. Where's the smell of small coal? Sammy Smelly smell.
Did Bill it faster.
I don't want applause. It's reading.
Well done,
Okay. No, that's terribly impressive, darling. Well
my
done.
God.
Do you know what small coal is?
No, and care not.
Thank you for watching. Do remember to subscribe to the QI channel and click here to watch more videos. Well, please, come on, pick something.